Good afternoon and welcome to the studios of Poly TV Ilaro. It's another time for the newspaper review and analysis. My name is Femi Afolabi and my guest is here seated, Egbon, Mr. Deji Adeyemi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Femi. Glad to be here.
Today, the newspapers focused mainly on the much-awaited judgment that is being expected from the Supreme Court. And let me quickly run through how the newspapers titled their headline. From the front page of the Punch newspaper, the Punch says, APC, ADC, PDP await crucial Supreme Court verdict. And when we go to the Daily Trust says, ADC, Supreme Court, a make or my judgment. And the Vanguard says, Supreme Court to determine PDP ADC fate today. And the Nigerian Tribune on its front page says Supreme Court decides PDP ADC's fate today. And that is the summary of what the newspapers are saying today. Today is the make or my day for either both the ADC and of course PDP. The much awaited judgment is expected today.
Well, what do we say, except that we have to just wait for a few hours to come for the Supreme Court to come up with its judgment. It's like you rightly said, is a make or mar moment for ADC and PDP. It's a pity that they found themselves, especially ADC, in this mess. Because as things go, or as we move on, they may just miss the ballot next year. And of course, it is just left now, it is left for the Supreme Court to make a decision. And just yesterday, a federal high court in Abuja gave another ruling that all congresses conducted by ADC are null and void. And what do you now? Well, they just found themselves. I know that they must be gnashing their teeth now, thinking or putting into consideration the very day they decided to go to ADC. You know, these are people from APC, PDP, and the rest of them. And now they want to form a coalition, and they went to ADC. Maybe, I said it here before, that they probably should have worked 24/7 and make sure that they get their own platform. It looks to me that it was just a deal between this leadership that is in crisis now and the one Mr. Raf Nwosu. In fact, if not for Nigeria or whatever it is, how can a person, just one man, found or just one man come up with a political party? Yes, he was the one who formed the party, and then maybe he called other people and not the rest of it. And because look at the papers, they keep calling him the founder. Even AG and MPC in those days, they are founders. Awolowo, Olowo, Akindeko, and the rest of it. They founded. It's not as if Awolowo is the founder, the owner of the party. And of course, that's what is happening now.
Well, in a couple of hours from now, we will hear the judgment, and whichever way it goes, do you still think the two political parties will be able to make something meaningful in 2027?
Well, it's a tough call. I don't know. In terms of impact, they may not particularly have much to put on the table. But in the meantime, you never can tell. they still have, if they could get if they get the coalition working, they will give they give a run for the money of APC. But in the meantime, would they be able to do just that? They have very little time. By May 10, the registers of political parties must be um, in the with INEC. And today is what?
Even before now, while the country was awaiting this judgment, we discovered that the two political parties, especially the ADC, the top players there were just moving from across the country, trying to negotiate, trying to form alliances, and here and there we saw Obi in Ibadan and with the Kwankwaso some other times in the past, and all they are not resting. They're just moving from one place to the other, trying to. In fact, there was a summit, a political summit of all the opposition parties
Opposition
in
parties.
Ibadan, and the outcome is in the public domain. What do you think the 2027 election will bring at the end of the day?
Well, of course, we will have the elections. In fact, it was just like I was reading somewhere, and Ralph Nwosu was saying that there is no way the elections will take place without ADC. I think that's fallacious. There is nothing like that. They just praise that the Supreme Court comes out favorable because that's just ADC.
All right. Still talking politics. The front page of a Daily Trust newspaper. There's this Manos report, the footnote saying enemy is trying to use insecurity to get rid of me. Tinubu. In the last couple of days, we had President Tinubu has been talking tough. One of the newspapers even reported him as saying, quoting him as saying, "I am a stubborn politician."
Yeah.
He said people trying to, or the opposition trying to use insecurity to campaign against him will not deter him from winning. But it's a very, very right topic in Nigeria, insecurity. Do you see it making any impact?
Yeah, of course, it will. If there is an insecurity, there will not be peace, and you need peace for elections to take place. But what we find out is that, truly speaking, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the president, is a tough man. Well, if he has described himself as a stubborn politician, well, that means he could really give a description of who he is. Because don't forget that at one time there, he was the last man standing in AD. And of course, he's still there. All his other compatriots then, they probably have retired. Well, what I think he should know, you see, we are in a web of crisis. You can imagine, even the National Assembly some time ago said that they should step down voting in some states of the north. Of course, Atiku Abubakar came lashing at them and the rest of it. But in real sense, can you vote where there is no peace, where there is insecurity? It is not possible. People will not come out. Well, in fact, like in the north there, in some parts of Borno State, people have actually fled the villages or the towns. So who is going to vote there?
Yeah, that's a question somebody was asking a few days ago, that when campaign starts in earnest, and when President Tinubu visits Plateau and Benue State, what will he be telling them? Because these are places where insecurity has really ravaged the environment there. What will he be telling them?
Yeah, you see, the whole thing just remains that give them hope, because actually, when you look at it, it is not Tinubu in the forest. And of course, we have the army battling these terrorists and the rest of them. We just need to keep improving on our approaches. such that there could be peace. But to say that we do not do elections because of this, well, we should just watch how it goes.
Okay, we move to the front page of a Guardian newspaper, and Guardian today is saying Atiku Tinubu trade blame as US moves to tighten oversight on Nigeria. We're still talking politics, insecurity, and national development. And this paper is saying the US may, in the next couple of days, tighten more security, more oversight on Nigeria. Of course, there are rumors that the US government may want to sanction Nigeria because government officials have been found complicit in killings in some part of the north, especially in the Christian-dominated areas.
Okay.
Now, Atiku and Tinubu were taking blames.
Well, the fact still remains that we need the US. We have already even signed papers with them. Memoranda of different sorts. And of course, this would need to be actionable. This need to be actionable. And but in the meantime, how they will have to do something. You know, in most cases, if you do not give people in governance, especially in Africa and in some other developing countries, they really just sit back on their asses. What I mean by that is that when there are sanctions or all these other things that these countries, Western countries, use in order to push the countries there to action. Of course, they may just have to do that, but let's see how it goes. I don't know.
Okay, still talking about politics. I go to the front page of Tribune newspaper. There's a pictorial story there. You see the president flanked by Governor Sanwo-Olu and, of course, members of the Government Advisory Council of Lagos State. And there's a report that explains that picture. 2027, Tinubu endorses Hamzat as GAG visit Villa. That explains that Lagos issue is resolved.
Of course, obviously, if you have the GAC, the Advisory Council to the governor, backing Hamzat, the deed is done. And of course, it means that there's continuity in Lagos. And it may just be good enough for the state. But of course, that does not say that people cannot come and, Jandor is still on his consultation trips and the rest of it. He will contest, no doubt. But of course, where he gets his votes is where the problem lies.
Are you aware that somebody, an APC leader or a APC chieftain has purchased the expression of interest form to run for presidency in APC?
I'm aware. Okay. But I just think what should be is that because he's not going nowhere. The man is going nowhere. I have not heard anything. In fact, he's an obscure person. I'm sorry I'm saying it like this, but it is what it is. And you are now taking for 100 million. In fact, immediately after the primaries, Zach Adedeji, the man at the tax office or somebody there, they should just go to his office and
to do what?
Yes,
to ask him where he got 100 million.
No, what I'm saying is that is he paying? No, I'm not to ask him where he got 100 million. But is he paying his taxes?
You can't say anything about politicians. He knows why he's doing what he's doing.
Okay. No, that's true. To a large extent.
Okay, if we can say Lagos State is settled, if we are talking about Guru, what will you say about River State? Because I learned that Fubara is about taking the form, whereas Wike is filming that And I read that President Tinubu has said, no, Fubara is the leader of the party in River State. He's free to do whatever he wants to do.
It's a web of crisis, like I said, because in fact the man has not been talking for quite some time, but he has been. I guess that before when they resolved the issue there, he was expressly announced as the
leader
of the party in that place.
Yes.
Now, and he has to deliver the party. So I don't know, or deliver the steak. I mean, so what it means is just that it's like a circus.
But why is Fubara? Why is Wike filming? Because Wike is in PDP.
Is he in PDP?
Wike is in PDP. Okay. At least publicly as of today, he has not declared for APC.
For APC. I understand. I'm just cracking jokes there.
All right. Well, let's interrogate another topical story. Daily Trust. A minor report on the front page of Daily Trust says ambassadors designate get land in Abuja. Yesterday or day before yesterday, Wike at a World Press Conference announced that Mr. President has allocated a parcel of land to the 70 ambassadors designate. And immediately after that story went viral. People were questioning, why will you allocate land to those who ordinarily they are well-to-do? They have money to get whatever they want. We are allocating free land to them because the ambassadors designate. From the moral point of view, is that justified?
It is not. And I think there are some actions that the government take that really makes some people or people like us feel so bad about these things. Because you are appointed ambassadors, must you not be given an extra privilege? It's a privilege by itself that you have been appointed an ambassador. Now, if you are appointed an ambassador and you serve for 2 years, and then you are reposted or you are even withdrawn or whatever, then you have something, you have the house. If you are, people should work for Nigeria. It's not the pecuniary or the, yes, there must be benefits wherever you work. But in the meantime, I think this is not helping matters at all. It is just like, okay, it is us, we are there and we must make something out of it. Why? A plot of land in Abuja, we all know what it will cost.
Don't be surprised that each of them, before their appointment, were well-to-do. They must have had properties across the country. Now, this is an addition to their status. Let's quickly mention this before we go, because time is not our friend. There's a running story. Police ordered dismissal, prosecution of officers involved in Efron shooting. A few days ago, the internet were taken by surprise when we saw a team of policemen extrajudiciously killed a Nigerian, and Nigerians went to the internet to condemn it. Now the IG has ordered their dismissal.
Well, of course, I commend the IGP for the swift action taken, and then of course let them just go ahead and get prosecuted. And I believe that would be as soon as possible. I read things about that particular incident, and I think that this is the most heinous crime anybody could have committed. And somebody who watched the video, the viral video, said that at the first instance, when the man wanted to shoot, the gun was not going. And he now had time to reload, and then he killed him while the suspect, let me put it that way, was kneeling down there, begging for his life and the rest of it. So what happens? And there are other policemen there. They couldn't even restrain the Usman person.
He
Yusuf Usman or something.
he is the team leader. He's an ASP. So
It doesn't matter. I mean, the situation was that they are complicit in a manner or the other.
well,
They couldn't restrain.
time is not our friend. This is where we end this narration. But of course, it's a running story. We will attempt to give you updates as it occurs. This kind of extrajudicial killing is condemnable by everybody. And like we said, we want to salute or to thank the Inspector General of Police for his swift reaction to that. I want to thank you sincerely for finding that to be gig.
Thank you again. Thank you.
That's the program. We'll be here tomorrow by His grace with another fresh edition. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle.